In the previous video, we have discussed about the definition of medicinal chemistry. We also discussed about the various parameters, and the first parameter that we discussed was the pKa value. What is the meaning of that pKa value? How it is significant? How it is related to the pH value? And in total, how the pH and pKa of a drug determines the concentration of the ionized form and the unionized form. We also discussed how these pKa value, it affects the absorption, distribution, metabolism and excretion of a drug. Okay, so this was one of the parameter. Now in today's video, we will start with another important parameter, that is a partition coefficient. Okay, now it may happen that the unionized form of a drug, it also shows low lipid solubility. Okay, in the previous video on pKa value, we discussed that pH, the unionized form and the ionized form are determined by the pH, and it was assumed that the unionized form is a lipid soluble form and it is easily crossed. It easily crosses the biological membranes. However, it may happen that the unionized form of a drug can also have low lipid solubility. So, to understand the lipid solubility of a drug, a property called as partition coefficient is used. Okay, the property called partition coefficient is used. Now, this partition coefficient is determined in a way that if you dissolve a solute in a mixture of two immiscible phases in which it is soluble, the solute or a drug, it distributes itself into the two immiscible phases in a definite proportion, and if you take the ratio of this, it is called a distribution or partition coefficient. Okay, so if a solute is placed in a mixture of two immiscible phases in which it is soluble, in a mixture of two immiscible phases, okay, in which it is soluble, then it distributes itself into the two phases in a definite proportion, and this proportion, if you take the ratio of this, it is called distribution or partition coefficient, shown by the symbol capital P, and it is given as P is equal to concentration of amount of solute in the N-octanol, that is the organic phase, and then divided by the amount present in the aqueous phase, that is taken as water. Oil phase for determination of partition coefficient is N-octanol. So this is the value or the parameter or the property of partition coefficient. Now if we look at this equation, we can say that for a drug which is showing high solubility in N-octanol, it means it will have a greater value of P. If the numerator is higher, then the P value is also higher. So we can say higher the value of P, higher is the lipid solubility, means solubility in N-octanol, and we can also say lower the value of P, higher is the aqueous solubility or the water solubility of a drug. So it can thus be inferred from the equation that higher is the value of P, higher is the lipid solubility of a drug, and lower is the value of P, higher is the aqueous solubility of a drug. And in this way, this P value or the partition coefficient value, it helps in determining the lipid solubility of a drug. Now the P function or the logarithm of P value is called as log of P, and it is more commonly used than the P, simple P. Okay, so this was all about this partition coefficient. Now this partition coefficient is can be related to the biological activity in two ways. It could have a linear relationship. If we plot a graph of this, here we have biological activity, and on the x-axis we have log of p value. Okay, log of p. Now this relationship can be two types. One, it can be a linear relationship, means as we increase the log p value, the biological activity is also increasing. It is observed in certain cases. However, the more commonly observed relationship between the log p value and the biological activity is that of, as shown in the next, this is biological activity, and then here is log of p. And if we plot a graph of this, as the log p value increases, the biological activity increases up to a certain point, and then after a certain point it starts decreasing. So it is a sigmoidal relationship. This is a linear relationship between the activity and the log p value, and this is the parabolic or sigmoidal relationship between the log p value and the biological activity. In this case, what is happening? As we are increasing the log p value of a drug, the activity also increases, but it increases only to a certain point. After a certain point, if we further increase the log p value, the activity then decreases. Okay, so this value of log p is called as optimum value of log p, and shown as log p 0. Log p 0. Okay, log of p0 is the optimum value of log p. It is the value of log p beyond which, if we further increase the log p value of a drug, the biological activity of that drug decreases. So this was about the partition coefficient and its relation to the biological activity. Another important parameter is the protein binding. Now protein binding can be understood by this equation. There is a free drug. It combines with the proteins that are present in the serum and form a drug protein complex. Now these after entering into systemic circulation, obviously, once a drug enters the systemic circulation, a drug may bind to proteins in the serum and thus form a drug protein complex. Now the implication of this protein binding is that because the certain amount of drug has bound to the serum protein to form a drug protein complex, it means now there is less drug available for binding to the receptor. Okay, so the value of this equilibrium between this equation, the value of this equilibrium constant plays a role in determining the free concentration of a drug, and the implications can be understood as follows. Number one, free form of the drug is the active form of the drug, and it is available for binding to the target and exerts its biological response. So it determines this equation, the value of this equilibrium constant determines how much amount of free drug is available at the equilibrium. Also, this equation also infers that the protein complex or drug protein complex may also act as a reservoir of a drug. Okay, so as the free drug is removed from here, this drug protein complex dissociates to release the free drug, so it acts as a reservoir. Another important implication of this is protein binding is that because of protein binding, the drug is not normally filtered into the glomerular filtrate, and thus the excretion is delayed. We will see later when we will discuss about the renal excretion of a drug that renal excretion is one of the most common and major excretion pathway, and the drug that is bound to protein is normally not filtered into the glomerular filtrate, and thus the excretion is delayed. In addition to this, the drugs also compete for binding to the serum proteins. Okay, so if we have a drug and then we co-administer another drug that also binds to the protein, then what happens that the second drug may displace the first drug and thus increase the concentration of free drug of the first category. Okay, so this is causes significant drug interaction. So drug also compete for binding to the serum proteins, and thus a drug may replace a drug which is already bound to the proteins, increasing the serum concentrations of the latter, and this can cause drug interactions. So this was about the protein binding. Now another important parameter or property is the solubility of a drug. Now the solubility of a drug is very important for determining its absorption, distribution, metabolism and excretion, and so we can say it determines the overall pharmacokinetic behavior of a drug. In addition to this, the solubility of a drug, it is also important for designing the formulation of a drug, whether it will be administered as an oral formulation or it will be administered as a parenteral formulation, or which route or which formulation of a drug will be made. It very much depends on the solubility of that particular drug. Okay, so this was about the solubility parameter. Now another important factor or the property is the hydrogen bond formation. Now as we know that hydrogen bond is formed between an electronegative atom, it may be oxygen or nitrogen, and an hydrogen. Now this hydrogen bonding can be intermolecular or intramolecular. Intermolecular means within the two molecules A and B. Okay, one of the molecule will act as a hydrogen donor, another will act as a hydrogen acceptor. And intramolecular means within the same molecule, within the same molecule A, we have hydrogen bonding within two functional groups. So this is intramolecular, this is intermolecular. Now this the molecule that is having electron deficient hydrogen means the hydrogen that is attached to a electronegative atom, and hence it is electron deficient. It functions as a hydrogen donor like oxygen and attached to this hydrogen OH group. Now because this oxygen, it is more electronegative than this hydrogen, it pulls the electron towards itself, and hence this hydrogen, it becomes electron deficient. So this hydrogen then behaves as a hydrogen donor, and the lone pair of electron or the lone pair of heteroatom that is involved in the interaction of the functional group that provides the heteroatom to receive the electron deficient hydrogen is known as hydrogen bond acceptor. Now this hydrogen which is deficient in electron, this is an oxygen having a lone pair of electron. Now this lone pair of electron may be involved in interaction or bond formation with this electron deficient hydrogen. Now this becomes the hydrogen bond acceptor, and this becomes the hydrogen bond donor. Okay, so this is where the hydrogen bond is formed. The hydrogen bond is a relatively weaker bond, and the bond strength varies from 16 to 60 kilojoule per mole. Also the distance, bond distance of hydrogen bond is longer in comparison to the covalent bond. In the case of covalent bond, the distance is 1 to 1.5 angstrom, whereas in the case of hydrogen bond, the distance is 1.5 to 2.2 angstrom. Okay, so this was the effect of hydrogen bonding. Now this hydrogen bonding is also important in the interaction of a drug with its receptor active site, because there are certain drugs that form hydrogen bond with the amino acids present at the active site of the receptor. Okay, so this is very important interaction of a between a drug and a receptor. So this is all for this video. In the next video we will discuss about other parameters that are used for the determining the relationship between the biological activity.